When most people think of California, they imagine cities and sunshine. But this is the true north, remote, rugged, rooted in redwoods and tribal lands. Out here, systems are stretched, the people are powerful, and communities are organizing for something deeper. In Eureka City Schools, 8 schools serve more than 3,500 students. But for years, family and community voices had been fading. That's where organizing began. We believe power rests in relationships, that families and students already hold the solutions to the challenges they face. This is the story of what that looks like, right here in the true north.
Organizing is about building the capacity of those individuals to create the change themselves. Trusting that communities have the best answers and solutions to the problems that they're experiencing.
Leadership is not just facilitating the meetings and being the guide, but it's giving someone else a voice. We see that with True North.
Before True North came aboard, I was trying to reach out to families who were non-English speaking. I had set up interpreters. We sent out flyers and I did robocalls in languages other than English. No one came. This was more than 2 or 3 times at Eureka High. No families came.
Eureka High had not had a English Language Advisory Council, or ELAC, in the last several years. And they also didn't have a school site council. The way that schools are run in the United States really requires parent input.
The reality is those families that we were trying to reach out to get their perspective and opinion, they were so used to not being listened to.
One of my daughters at high school, her teacher invited us to one of the meetings. We got together. I realized there's other kids who have problems and they struggle. Their parents don't feel like they have a voice.
We've got to do better to support these students and families, and that those students and families could very well be leaders that just haven't had an opportunity to step into their leadership.
Evan came and he's like, we need to do this ELAC. And I was like, dude, I'm not putting my name and my relationship on the line to bring parents here if it's going to be the same we've done in the past. And he's like, it's not going to be the same. And I said, well, how's it not going to be the same? And he says, because we're going to have multiple meetings. We're going to do research. We're going to get the parents' goals first. And I said, all right, man, I will do that. And so I reached out to a whole handful of people and students, and I used the relationships and the trust that I built to bring them there. And then, bam, it just was amazing to watch it happen.
I started off at Eureka High School, going to the attendance team meetings every week.
We were hopeful that this time it would be something where we could bring about change. We went to the first meeting and we met everyone at True North.
At the end of that first meeting, I said to everybody in attendance, okay, who's going to help me plan the next meeting? This isn't my community. I'm here to support you, but I'm not here to do it for you.
That's kind of how it all got started, and we've been part of it since.
When True North came on board and started working with the families in partnership with Tim Olson, it really helped that we had a teacher do that warm handoff. And then True North started the one-to-one interviews with families, students, teachers, staff, to really understand the culture.
When I was sitting down with students and they were telling us why they're missing class, I was totally sympathetic. I'm like, I get it. But I feel like also we could do better just by learning how we could better serve you as a community and as a school, and then taking that back to the admin and being transparent about what I was finding.
The feedback was really around lack of feeling welcome, lack of access, lack of information that was accessible.
We really went into what is our dream school, what is our present school, what could we be, what do we wish we were, and knowing that we're going to actively work toward that, it was very inspiring, very motivating, and so it kicked off the entire thing.
There was this sudden shift in energy in the room that you could feel. These families, these students, realizing it doesn't have to be this way.
With True North, I feel like it was very different because we were receiving all of this guidance. Before we jumped into all the action, we were informed of strategies, how to be organized, how to make our voice heard, like actually to be able to bring about a change. In preparation for each meeting, we get together and build the agenda from scratch. What do you want to talk about? Who do we want to bring in?
The parents led the meeting. They had created the agenda.
First meeting that we built an agenda for 30 minutes, and one of the school representatives was like, there's no way we're going to get through all of this in 30 minutes. We did it. That was very impressive for them, and we were very proud of ourselves.
They shared the agenda ahead of time, and it allowed us to really be responsive as a school district to the family's needs. That was all around organic leadership development. That's the civic engagement piece.
They ask the parents what they want to know about, and then they have the parents do the research, and then they have the parents present when they go to these listening sessions with admin. And then the parents are the ones that are armed with the knowledge. It's much different than just receiving information top down or just checking boxes.
If you want to see a change, come to the meetings and be a part of it.
The hope is that we can bring about change for the betterment of our students. The focus is English language learner students, but we hope that this can also be a group of parents and students that are motivated to bring about change in other aspects of our education.
The families are giving us clear feedback. They want True North and Eureka City Schools, community schools, to talk to the students. We have students who are English learners, and really finding out the system impact on those families, that they are impacted negatively from a school system that hasn't been responsive. The exciting thing is that us being willing to listen to the families so that the system is really bending to what the needs of the families and the students are.
It is entirely our voice and our decisions that are coming to fruition. And it's propelling these students to make sure that their voices are also heard, which is what brings about change.
The best schools that we can imagine are ones where families have a real active voice and that they're listened to by the schools. When you get a room full of students and community members and guardians and families and administrators and teachers all dreaming together, all thinking about what could be, that's where the energy is.
That is a hoped outcome for community schools, which we're seeing play out right now at Eureka High with the ELAC being developed.
At the end of the meeting, we always do an evaluation and ask folks, how was this? What could we do better? What went well this time that you'd like to see more of? One of the positives was, I feel like we have a new community. That was the sign that we were doing something right.
It makes me feel so happy and so fulfilling, motivated, inspired, and ready to make a change.
Venir por darnos su tiempo hoy y espero verlos en la próxima junta. Y como siempre, creo que sigue habiendo comida, así que tomen comida.